Nah, it can't be. No, I am not feeling this. Canelo versus Terence, Bud Crawford. The fight, the promotion, it stinks. And I'm really not a fan of how this fight, the early details that I am seeing with Canelo versus Crawford. In this video, I will break it down, give you my opinion on Canelo Crawford, the promotion, what I do not like about it, and I'm going to break it down for you. So by the end of this video, there will be no questions from you. From the top, we unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. We are back. We are back. We are so back. Boxing Ego back with another unpack. Canelo versus Crawford. Let me just jump right into it. Give you guys my interpretation of what I am seeing. Yeah, dig. Now, for the record, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the thumbs, hit the bell icon so you do not miss any boxing news in 2025. If you snooze, you lose. I'm giving you news you can use. Period. The best in the business, and it's not even close. Now, with me being the best, I made a video about this, and basically it was talking about Canelo versus Crawford, the fight promotion, right? And for me, for several reasons in the video, I give you guys my opinion on why it was off to a bad start, right? In my opinion. Now I just seen something that I really didn't like, and that's why your man Ego got to get unpacked with it. So what did I see? Canelo and Crawford, they have a press conference, and it will be today. Ahead of this press conference, obviously they arrived because the press conference is in Saudi Arabia, so they had to travel there from wherever location they were at, and they're eating dinner together. Dinner! They are eating dinner together, and I understand. I've seen pictures of Crawford arriving in Saudi. They're very hospitable in the kingdom, so he's given like almost a hero's welcome with flowers and, you know, rose petal like coming to America. No, I know what it is that I like. What type of food do you like? Right? So he's getting the red carpet treatment, same with Canelo. Cool. I have no problem with that. But then it looks like they're doing a royal dinner with turkey. They're eating dinner together, and Canelo and Crawford are like looking at the camera. It's like a photo op. A photo op. I was hoping it was a Photoshop, but instead Canelo and Crawford did a photo op. That's a bar, right? And when I seen this, I'm like, nah. I really don't like that, man. And I know some of the haters, the Bud Buddies and the Canelo Cinnabon, they're going to be mad at me. This is my opinion. You don't have to watch me. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch me. I'm giving you my real opinion. However, my opinion remains tried and true and very consistent. I have never liked this, even in the fight. If you listen to the Boxing Ego post-fight breakdowns, what really happened, or any of my watch parties, I tell you, there's a thing that I hate when fighters do where they get their butt kicked in the round and then ding, ding, ding to go to your corner, sounding of the end of the round. And then the fighter like will pat the other person on the gloves or on the back or on the butt, like as they're walking to their corner. To me, I don't believe in that. I am an insanely competitive person. I always have been. I'm the best. I know I'm the best. And it's just about doing the work and having the work ethic to prove it, right? So I don't like seeing people, you just got whooped in a round. What do you look like like dapping them up and being like courteous. I don't believe in that in boxing. That's just me. Maybe I'm cut from a different cloth. I don't believe in that. My thing is this. Yes, boxing is the gentleman's sport. It is. I'm not saying these guys should. This is not a gang. It's not Bloods versus Crips, right? So we're not talking about outside of the ring antics and like I want to see bloodshed or nothing crazy. But for me, boxing is so competitive and grueling. I don't like to see fighters all buddy-buddy. You can do the Caleb Plant, David Benavidez route. What do I mean? Now, Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, it was very on wax. The two did not like each other. They even had like an altercation, a dust up, if you will, fisticuff in a boxing gym for free, right? So David Benavidez, Caleb Plant famously did not like each other. They fought. They gave us a great fight on my birthday, March 25th. Shout out to the Aries, right? And Benavidez won. Caleb Plant was winning early rounds, acquitted himself nicely. And then now they can take pictures together. Now they could be at the same fight and it's all love and dap and hug and all that. I like that. That to me, perfect. Or another, see, I'm the king of boxing talk. I'm the best in the business and it's not even close. I could give you these examples all day. Floyd Mayweather and Zab Judah are very cool now. But when it was on, it was on. Rest in peace to Roger Mayweather. He got in the ring and it was like mayhem and a big melee with the families and the low blows. Like that's boxing to me. Or another example, Marco Antonio Barrera, the babyface assassin, Eric Morales. They were hitting and slapping each other. They did not like each other going into their fight, which ended up being a trilogy of fights, right? Now they're cool. There was a moment that like now they're doing, I've seen them do broadcasts and pictures together and stuff like that. That couldn't have been the case when they're active fighters. So for Canelo and Crawford, that's what I would like to see. I would have no problem if Canelo and Crawford duke it out, you know, after the fight, then go fishing together. Crawford likes fishing. I don't know if Canelo, I was barn ready. I don't know if Canelo liked to fish, but I'm sure you can find common ground. Or Crawford's very competitive and into sports. He plays basketball. I don't know. I don't think Canelo played basketball, but maybe you guys could go golfing or something. I don't care what happens after the fight. But listen, you're saying it's a mega fight. You're saying it's a super fight. It's been off to a rocky start for multiple reasons. I've already went over a lot of those reasons, right? Wait, that is my biggest pet peeve with this fight. This fight seems like a reach. It seems forced. It seems like a fight that nobody, like, hear what I'm saying. Because what I'm saying is about to hit, like, you ever been broke, super broke, and you get that paycheck on the 15th of the month or whatever, and that paycheck really hit. When that direct deposit hit, my points hit like direct deposit. When you've been living paycheck to paycheck and you get that direct deposit to splash in that account and it like resurrects you. Or when you need to get chopped. You ain't had a haircut, you looking scruffy, you looking like American Werewolf in London. And then you go to the shop and get chopped at the barber shop, and then he rejuvenates you, your barber resurrects you. That's what this point is finna splash. I'm the Steph Curry of boxing. I'm Steph Curry of boxing talk. I'm about to splash on y'all. Pause. So for me, Canelo and Crawford, I hate what I'm seeing. I don't want to see no buddy. Now, here's the point. Name a super fight where the people built up the fight and it did well, like million pay-per-views, and they appeared before the fight to be buddy in boxing. Name the fight. Like, I'm talking about, if you look at whatever year this alleged super fight happened, this was the biggest fight for that year or one of them, right? Because in 2017, I had the luxury of covering 2 fights. Actually, it was 3 back-to-back. When Crawford became undisputed, I was there, right? And he fought in Dongo. There was some bad blood there. They didn't really like each other. Cool, but that's light. Couple weeks, I came home. A couple weeks later, I went to Mayweather, Conor McGregor. I don't even have to go into detail about that promotion. That was one of the greatest promotions of my lifetime, with two fighters / showmen in Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Shut your mouth, mate. You'll do none. I don't know what you're thinking. Right? They did their thing. Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, they sold it. They built up the fight, and they made everyone want to watch. It was almost like the first of its kind, this real big superstar / crossover fight, and so on and so forth. So again, I told you, I'm about to hit like direct deposit. Name me a fight where it was no bad blood. Like, I remember Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, right? They were getting ready to fight. And the first fight I'm talking about, in front of the first fight, there was a picture of Wilder and Tyson Fury sitting down in like a trailer on a couch, and they were just next to each other before a press conference. And I remember old media, the Resistance, the usual suspects, they looked at this picture of Wilder and Tyson Fury sitting next to each other, being cordial before a press conference, and then they had a fun press conference, and this was the first fight, and people said this is fake. Of course, the old media, they hate PBC, hate Al Heyman, hate Wilder, blah, blah, blah. We know why, right? They looked at this picture and said it was fake and it was fraudulent. How could they be sitting next to each other, but then they're acting like enemies before the fight and in the promo stuff? So they didn't like that. Now, these same individuals who still watch boxing many years later, they have no problem with Canelo and Crawford eating dinner together. They're eating dinner, bro. Like, who needs to see this? Turkey has some unique ideas. It reminds me of Canelo when he was doing a unification with Danny Jacobs, right? They did a FaceTime call together where Canelo and Danny Jacobs were on FaceTime together, and they were just talking, and they were being polite to each other. And I'm like, DAZN is weird. Like, why are they putting this out like this? I don't know who's watching my video. I'm an internet personality and content creator. I can't control how this video gets out. I don't know who's going to watch it. What I do know is what I feel about fights. I don't want to see two people eating dinner together before the fight, right? I'm not saying the fight's fixed or rigged or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. I want to see two people who are so locked in, they can't even fathom or bear the idea of being next to the person that's kind of trying to take everything that they love. You know, you're feeding your family with this sport, right? Crawford is undefeated. Why would I want to see him eating dinner with Canelo? Like, whose idea with this? Whose idea is this? Like, really? Who really wants to see that? I don't think, and I question before, I've already made the video. I'll try to put a card at the end of this video. I really question how this promo was off to a bad start. But then now seeing the two people eat dinner together, this is furthering my point as opposed to like repelling. And this is not a good answer to my prior notion that this buildup is going to be lackluster. In my first video about this topic, obviously it was before they got to Riyadh and did this dinner. We having a dinner party, a tea party, you know. This was before that. But still, there was a video of them together with Turkey, and Canelo's like, no, we don't need to talk ish. He's a great fighter. I'm a great fighter, blah, blah, blah. These two are great fighters. They do not get it, bro. They don't understand. Like, and this is part of the problem when you have a broker, like a financier like Turkey, who's just throwing at a fight like this the money that he feels this fight is worth, and he's amping it. The problem is this, because you take them pretty much off a pay-per-view scale. I don't know their contract, but I would venture to say their money is not really indicative of the sales rate of pay-per-view buys, which I've already explained. And if you want, type pay-per-views or pay-per-view buys in the comment section. If enough of you guys put that, then I'll do a deeper dive into my problem with that. But the problem is, I've worked a lot of jobs, right? Well before boxing, right? Before I started being a YouTuber and a content creator, right? I'm a salesman. I know how to sell things. I'm a hustler, right? So with that being said and that in mind, at the end of the day, you have to learn how to sell. It's an art. You know what I mean? It's like Wolf of Wall Street, right? Jordan Belfort. And when you know how to sell, you can virtually sell anything. And the people in my position or at my place of employment at the time, I was always one of the top salesmen. It's just what it is, right? Because you have to have the gift of gab. And that being said, those jobs where we got spiffs and commission and extra recognition for higher sales, I always did well for myself because I immediately stand out having the ability to sell, right? Boxing should be that very same way. I know some people don't like the concept of pay-per-view and this and that, but these are cheap like fans that don't want to pay that illegally stream. I don't care about them because even if it's a great fight, they're so cheap, they're not even going to break bread to support their fight, which could lead to boxing becoming extinct if you don't support, you know what I mean? Or not get the matches that we want. So I'm not worried about cheap people who are never going to throw down and support the sport, right? I'm talking about the real ones. And I think pay-per-view is still a necessary evil. When the guys are getting like, let's say, I don't know his purse, but let's say Crawford's getting 50 million and Canelo's getting 100 million, right? When you're throwing that type of bread and that's their pay scale, then you're removing the commission, right? And it changes the ecosystem, right? For example, so let's say one of my prior sales jobs, let's say I'm selling appliances, right? If you overpay somebody and you're giving them $50 an hour and they're good with that, then they might be on their phone, right? They might be in the back chatting it up and texting and like, hey, all I could do, I could walk around, I could take extended breaks. I'm making 50 an hour and I'm good with that, right? But if you're making minimum wage and you rely on your commissions, that's a whole different ball game. Now, you know, you got to get up, you got to engage, you got to greet the customers, say hi to the customers, you got to upsell them, you got to sell the extended warranties, right? It's a different ball game when your paycheck will be indicative of how hard you work. And when you strip that away, as is the case here in boxing, I think it's worse. Like, for example, what I said earlier, Mayweather, Conor McGregor, they knew they both had big brands. They upselled, that's like supersizing some fries in a drink. They upselled it by having a great promotion and making you want to watch. Like, oh, what is Conor on? Conor's tripping. He tripping on Mayweather. Mayweather, that was funny. Ha ha, right? They're slapping the back. He slapped Mayweather's bald head, the back of his head and all that, right? It makes you want to see the fight. But Canelo and Crawford, two people who are known to kind of just sit there like a bump on the log and not really be the showman, not really show that spark and charisma. You know, I guess Canelo has shown it a bit more than Crawford, but it's only when he's pushed. But Crawford does not seem like the person that is going to push those buttons. And I feel like, back to my earlier point, name a super fight where it was one of the biggest fights of the year. Not like, oh, it was just boxing fans like to see it. I'm talking about a financially successful fight. And there was like no bad blood. There was no dynamic, charismatic personalities. Because every single mega fight in boxing that I could think of, they had a backstory or very dynamic personalities who even stepped it up. Like, let's say Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. That had a crazy backstory. People had wanted to see that fight for several years. They were in the same division for several years. So the backstory was already there. Errol also had like personal dramatics. I got in a car accident. How's it going to look? You know, Crawford had a belt and they had that run-in, you know, previous run-in in Oklahoma City or wherever they were, right? Where Errol Spence and Crawford's like, I'm going to stop you. And they go make excuses. You know what I mean? Backstory. And that made Crawford up his level because Errol was considered the antithesis, and a lot of people, and Errol really got more love and continues to get more love than Crawford. And I think that put a chip on Crawford's shoulder because he was the outcast. He was the top ranked dude and couldn't get none of the PBC fights. Finally got, and I'm not talking about he fought Al Heyman guys like John Molina Jr. I'm talking about the big three, you know, like Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence at the time. You know, even the Sean Porter fight, he didn't get that in his prime when Sean was like a champion. So I think Crawford, all in all, he had a great backstory with Errol Spence because he resented Errol Spence and the love that he got, and he wanted to prove it. Now with Canelo, they're like, oh, we don't need to talk trash. Oh, we're making so much money. Oh, let's eat dinner together. That's whack, bro. That, I don't know. I don't like that one bit. Y'all can say whatever you want about me. I don't really care. And for me, it's really not even just the dinner. My thing is this. Turkey, I feel like, I don't know, maybe not being from America, maybe you don't understand the culture of America or whatever, which is the market you're selling it to. Some people say dumb stuff to me. Oh, Ego, why do you keep saying America? There's other places in the world. Where are they putting this fight? Oh, that's right, in America. So yeah, you got to do right by Americans when you're putting the fight in America, right? That's the market you have chosen. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to do with UK. Oh, mate, it's like it, mate. Bang, you bang. Oh, you bloody. You know, it don't make sense to appease them when you're not doing the fight in the UK. Who cares what the Brits are talking about? British people are talking about. You're not selling to the British populace. You're selling to Americans. So yeah, you got to do right by Americans. And I'm here to speak on behalf of most Americans. People don't want to see this. We don't want to see you eating Applebee's and stuff together before the fight. Y'all supposed to be like separate dressing rooms and like sworn enemies. I don't want to see that. And again, you look at Canelo's like recent fights when he had a compelling B-side. That's what I'm going to call it. The buildups were better and the anticipation was better. Edgar Berlanga, y'all not giving him credit. You can say whatever you want about Berlanga. The man would push Canelo's buttons and it made the buildup better. And it made you want to see the outcome because he was talking greasy. He was on that Brooklyn stuff. Caleb Plant. We know the infamous slap, push, mush. Caleb got a cut from the glasses. We know what happened there. All of these things made those fights, like the Caleb Plant fight, did almost 1 million buys. But they're overpaying for the Canelo Crawford fight. It has no inherent backstory. Crawford and Canelo, people didn't even factor this in because Crawford himself has interviews where he said, y'all don't know ish about boxing, thinking I'm going to go up past 154. Y'all don't understand this weight. Why would I jump up to Canelo? He's way up at 168, right? So Crawford just a few years ago was talking like that. Obviously things have changed and now he thinks he could beat this version of Canelo. But again, I really feel like this promotion may underdeliver because you got two people. I can't wait. And I'm going to get a good indication from this press conference. But here's the thing. Even if the press conference was lit, right, where they're at each other's throat, it's going to come across as fake. You were just eating dinner with this person. You just did a sit down with Piers Morgan. You have that video with Turkey. So it's not even going to look right if you try to turn it up and you're at each other's throats, pushing each other and slapping each other. Again, if you don't believe what I'm saying in this video, prove me wrong. Name the anticipated fights like Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, right? All of the fights that I could think of that were considered bigger fights for those years, especially the super fight territory, they all had one of those few ingredients that I mentioned throughout this video. A backstory, charismatic, likable, dynamic personalities, and a good buildup that made you want to see the fight, right? And this thing, to me, from what I'm seeing so far, it matches what I forecasted in my previous video, so I had to make this follow-up video. I mean, who wants to see Crawford sit there and twiddle his thumbs and Canelo sit there and everyone's like, oh, this guy's a 4-division champion from Guadalajara, Mexico, and Crawford is 2X undisputed. That's boring. So I'm very curious to see how they are going to impress not only me, I'm not saying it like it's just me, but impress the boxing fans to make it this spectacle that you're talking about. And for me, you're not off to a good start. You're doing sit downs with Piers Morgan, so they're right next to each other, minding, you know, everyone's mindful, nobody's like tripped out. They're eating dinner together, right? And you know, they're in the same room coexisting. I feel like that waters down the game, because like real competition, you're not trying to see that. You're not trying to, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see two people who push themselves to the brink. And when there's like photos like this that come out, I just don't see the benefit. And that's part of it, being too thirsty and, you know, photoshops and selfies and stuff. When you start seeing it, then now it comes across as like, this is what you want people to tune into Netflix for, to see two people that like each other, you know, and then we're just talking it up with metrics read off of paper. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, especially in today's market where piracy is at an all-time high, people have TikTok brains and brain rot from doom scrolling. You know what I mean? All these types of things come into play for me. And like I said, Canelo Crawford is not off to a good start, not off to a hot start. Like, this behavior does not make me want to see the fight more. And I already had qualms about seeing the fight based on the weight and how Canelo looked his last fight. Really, even how Crawford looked versus Madrimov at 54. It's like you're making this fight a harder sell. I would love to be proven wrong, where, you know, because if I'm proven wrong, then the greater boxing good prevails, right? Like, if everyone watches this fight and everyone loves it, I'm a content creator in this space, so that is more beneficial to me. But I'm not gonna lie and forecast something that I don't see to make it look cookie cutter, picture perfect. I'm not into that. So I would love to be proven wrong with a fight that delivers on all fronts. But I really don't know. From what I'm seeing a lot of early red flags, and it is not making me feel secure that this is going to be as epic as they're making it sound. You can put $500 billion on the fighters' books and purses. You could put it in the biggest stadium known to man, Allegiant Stadium, and all this, state-of-the-art stadiums. I don't care. Like, you put on Netflix, all that stuff is cool, but you still have a fight to sell. Ain't nobody trying to see them eating chicken over there, chicken curry or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see that. I don't know what y'all on. Let me know in the comment section. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.